talking to Chaplain Mary Rae, who is chaplain for the Whitney, Texas Police Department. She also serves on the Whitney City Council and in other chaplaincy positions. And Mary Rae, thank you so much for being with us today.
My pleasure.
What we're talking about with Mary Rae today is that she was one of the chaplains that responded to the Sutherland Springs, Texas church shooting months ago. And Mary, I would start by asking this question: what were some of your when you heard about this shooting at Sutherland?
You're cutting out a little bit, but I did hear you say what some of my first thoughts were, and of course, when I first arrived, there was just a multitude of just onlookers and media and interested parties, and just a lot of people and vans and just everywhere there was just people and cameras and lights and of course there was the state troopers that were there, maintaining the area that was sealed off. So that was kind of my first. I was like an overwhelming feeling, like, wow, this is huge.
Well, and it certainly was. I know as I reflect back on some of the responses that I've made. We used to call it Satellite City. So many of the networks and television stations had satellite trucks set up, as it just, it was just almost unbelievable. Mary, I don't remember off the top of my head the numbers of the shooting, the numbers of dead and injured. We will look that up, and Phil can add that into the text that we're doing, but it was a tremendous number of people that were killed and also a number of people injured. And in some cases, entire families were wiped out. That's something we don't see a lot. Is that correct? I mean, a lot of times in a mass shooting, you may have one family member that shot, but in this case, we had entire families killed.
Correct. My understanding is that there was pretty much entire families, or at least most of the family. I believe there was a couple and two of their three children, so it pretty much wiped out their whole family. One of their daughters was away. And I'm actually looking that up right now because I happen to be in front of my computer, and there was 26 killed and 20 injured in that shooting, and it was listed as the deadliest mass shooting in the state of Texas to date.
Right, to date. You'd like to think that no one will try to break that, try to surpass that number, but you almost every day you wake up and you just pray, Lord, not again, not again today. Mary,
exactly.
in dealing with, you had to have been dealing with first responders, with survivors of people that were killed, with victims that survived. How do you go about preparing yourself for an event like this? I know there's no way to totally prepare, but what helped you as a police chaplain in going into this scene and having to deal with these various types of people?
Well, the first thing that I know in my heart that, I have a relationship with the Lord, and He gives me His strength, and of course, prayer. I'm praying, God to help me to be a blessing and help whoever is that I'm around. And being in law enforcement and being around law enforcement, I was allowed to go into places that others could not. so I was able to kind of see close up and personal. There was not a lot of victims' families available because of the timing of when I went. I was on the second or third day, and they were still all secluded. They weren't coming out at that point. I did talk to one gentleman that was a churchgoer, and he just happened to miss that Sunday. So, I was able to speak to him a little bit. But the first thing I want to say that, what, I was not afraid. And I know that might sound to some people, to sound maybe even a little bit cold, but I have Christ in me, and I know I was there to help. And as tragic as it is, I just wanted to be going forward to do what God's called me to do, and I was not afraid. I was not afraid of anything at that point. I just wanted to go out and help people.